Hey guys, it's Kimberly, and I'm back with the Twin Flame family. Welcome. You can see Stella is back there. She wants to join into our reading this week. I'm reading the collective Twin Flame energy for Monday, November 21st through the 28th. This is Thanksgiving week here in the U.S., so happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Take time to be grateful for everything that you have and really just appreciate everybody and everything, all the blessings in your life this week, because that's what it's about. Also, I have been working with numerous individuals on, private sessions, and we do tend to run long. I've been generous with my time. So, one of the things I thought would be neat is if I offered a 2017 reading, which will be sort of like a final purge for 2016, where we need to focus, what we need to work on, and then like the forecast going into 2017, what the year ahead looks like, what the energy holds for your twin flame dynamic. And I think this is a great way before the new year to get clarity. To, sometimes the holidays are hard. A lot of us struggle with it, especially if we're in, 3D physical separation with our twin flame. So I've got this up on the website now, and it's a 45-minute session. Okay, you guys who know me know that I'll probably end up spending an hour with you. And it's a tele session. You can book it online, and then we'll set up the date sometime between now and throughout the holidays or the end of the year, and we can really kind of dig deeper into the upcoming year and kind of what's ahead for you. So I thought that would kind of be a fun offering. It's up there on the website now, so you can go to thetwinflamefamily.com. So it's www.thetwinflamefamily.com, and just click on schedule a session, and it's right there. Also coming up on December 1st, before I get to our reading, I'm doing 2 back-to-back workshops, which several of you joined in to last month, and they were awesome. It's shadow work and projection workshop, and like illuminating the shadow within, how to do your shadow work, practical exercises. I'll work with you individually on the call, but it will be group. We'll kind of all share. We'll go through these exercises. And it's really just like practical learning with how to facilitate shadow work and how to clear some of these final things we need to clear. And then on the December 1st, back to back, right after that, immediately following, we'll have a little bit of a longer workshop, which is balancing the polarities, which is all about balancing the divine masculine, feminine. Big topic going on right now in society, as the divine masculine energy is really strong and a bit out of power and unhealthy. It's up to us to harness our divine feminine and to start to also harness our own authentic masculine for those of us who are embodied in the feminine, and figure out how to balance that from within so that we can have more harmonious relationships, as well as affect, higher consciousness and society as a whole. Very, very important. Very cool workshop. Lots of cool information to share. So you can book those online under the group sessions as well. TheTwinFlameFamily.com. All right. So this week. Okay, so we're moving into Thanksgiving. I have been saying the entire month that there are many unions that are about to take place, or you're coming back into union, many of you. Some of you this doesn't apply to. Some of you, your separation needs to go longer because there is healing that is there that needs to happen. And many of you I've worked with on the phone, and you know what that work is. And as you move through that work in 2017, union will become closer, and communication will open naturally. So there's not going to be this. A lot of you have been asking me, like, well, should I do this or should I not do that? Should I open communication? What should I do? And for many of you, it's been about clearing guilt or regrets, clearing the should or have to's, getting into the flow of unconditional love, and then going back and doing our inner child work. And that's just inevitable for everyone across the board. If you haven't done it yet, and there's still things that keep coming up and getting triggered, or you're looking at your twin flame and you're saying, well, they still need to do this. Well, guess what? You still need to do it too. So It's all about identifying those things and really spending the time over the next few weeks and months to clear and purge these final it's really more than, I want to say, final, patterns or triggers or wounds. It's really like we are completely repatterning everything that we've been taught or learned or that's ingrained in us. And many of you are so far along in your awareness already, but it's still very cognitive. And so as I work with individuals, I can hear it. I can hear that although you understand the work that needs to be done, it's still like outside of yourself. So your job is to dig into it, to actually go into the practical exercises and do them and start to do the clearing and the purging and the crying and the healing and the writing, okay? Many of you, writing is going to be a huge instrument and tool. And it's funny because I did draw cards this week for the collective. And before I get to this, I just want to show you, this is what came up: to write. It's a big part of our final purging. So I'll get to that in a few minutes, okay? So for those of you, however, that are starting to come back into communication and are inching towards union, are back in physical contact or communication, but it's still slightly dysfunctional, as I can relate to, you are going to be moving into a deeper commitment over the next few weeks. And this is really like exclusivity, partnership, living together, things that will happen rapidly, like a deeper commitment. The deeper commitment, however, will not be harmonious unless you trust. And I feel like a lot of our trust issues are coming up. I know that I can speak for that for myself. And it's really forcing us to look back into our past hurts and past relationships and figure out what is illusion and what is real. What is coming from within us? What are we projecting from our own past hurts and wounds and things like that onto our twin flame? And what is really real? I was near all these books in a psychologist's office, and I pulled a book from the shelf, and it said, and this is really for the divine feminine, and it said, the book was about how to basically have a relationship with a difficult man. And, whether you have a difficult woman or a difficult man, if we're labeling it difficult, what's difficult? So for me, that difficulty is when I feel threatened or feel like I'm going to be cheated on because I have the patterns of infidelity in my past. And so difficult is like someone who is, passive aggressive or gives you the silent treatment, which we've talked about a lot, or controlling, manipulative, unfaithful, if there's infidelity, if there's any of those things, or even the threat of those things. Your job still is to love yourself. Your job still is to harness your own power. Your job still is to balance your divine masculine, divine feminine. Your job still is to heal the past wounds so that you can discern what are truly the traits of your twin flame that are difficult, that you may need to work around or work within yourself so that you can have a harmonious relationship with this person. Usually the things that we feel threatened by outwardly are things that are being reflected back to us from within. So whether it's our own wounds, our own fears and worries, our own guilt, or even traits within ourselves that we're seeing within them that scare us. So I think if many of us are looking at our twins and feeling fear, like fearful, oh no, is he going to cheat on me? Oh no, is he going to give me the deeper commitment that I want? Or is she going to give me the deeper commitment that I want? This person has been wishy-washy up until now. This person has been unable to come into the fullness of. I have to say, I don't think that our twins are fully there yet, but we're not either. So this last piece in November, I feel like, especially in this next week, is that there is a yearning and a desire from both parties to have a deeper commitment. And I think a lot of the divine masculines are coming forward now for that. Okay? So if you feel that you're moving towards that, look within now and figure out, okay, why am I still scared by this? Why does it still feel threatening to me? Why is there a but, right? Because we're like, oh, I want this, but I'm afraid that. So what is that fear? Write that fear down and discern what that is and where it's coming from within you. So as you clear that, you'll be able to move into a space of deeper love, of unconditional love. But it starts with self-love. And that's what you need to understand. And I can't drive that message home enough. Because if we're not loving ourselves and in balance with ourselves, all this fear and worry is going to come up. And it's going to prevent this commitment, this deeper connection, this union from being harmonious unless we really work on it and clear it. And in my own twin flame relationship, which I know you guys, I haven't really talked that much about in recent videos, we're still doing this work in a huge way. And for me specifically, it's still about trusting, not my twin flame, but trusting myself, my own judgment, figuring out what is fact and versus fiction, okay? And that's just a fancy way of saying figuring out where the illusion is from my own past and my own hurts, and that all that fear and worry, where that's coming from, and then figuring out what is also innately him and what is there that needs to be healed from within me so that I can cooperate and so that I can actively participate in this relationship in a more harmonious way. And as I do that, he's also starting to do that as well. And so things become healthier. But things become healthier through the dysfunction often. And the dysfunction can present itself as fighting, misunderstandings, and we're still clearing this stuff. So anyhow, I want you to know that as a collective, as you do your work within yourself, that there is positive change up ahead, okay? Parvati she's this goddess of, she's bringing you powerful tools so that this change can come about. There is golden light that's coming in for the twin flames. There is a feeling peace within ourselves and that true self-love that's going to bring us to the unconditional love with our twin flame. Positive changes in the air, positive change around our missions and like really acting on them and getting within our power, harnessing our divine masculine, divine feminine energies within. And that's going to lead to this positive change. But I also feel like this is deeper commitment. It's deeper understanding. It's like two people coming to the table and like reaching for one another's hands and just holding on with like a knowing and a deep understanding and a deep love. And like not all of this, I'm getting up from the table and turning away, or like there's going to be a stillness, a coming to, a relaxing into, but there's still final purging. So one of my biggest pieces of advice, and this came up too, is to listen. So listen to your own intuition. So if you're feeling the fear, worry about your twin, listen to what that's about. What are those things? Can they be overcome? And are they stemming from within you? Is this your own fear and worry from stuff in your own history and past that you're bringing forth? And really listen to yourself and what that intuitive voice is saying. And then once you can discern what's what and what that is, it's time to write. And I'm saying this for everybody, even if you're not a writer. I feel for everyone, it's like either you are writers and you're writing poetry to clear things, you're writing about your experience, you're writing about your childhood to clear, just to process what sort of wounds and traits and things that you've carried through your adulthood. But if you're not like an artistic writer and you're like, oh, writing's not my thing, I still see you sitting down with a piece of paper and drawing a left column and a right column and going, okay, what are my fears? What are my worries? Okay, how does this reflect onto me, in my twin flame connection? What does this mean? What is still being triggered for me? Where are the triggers? And then going back into your own past, your childhood, your past relationships, and saying, what is it about this that's still lingering within me? And I do have those shadow worksheets, which is a way of writing. I have everything set up in the left column. All you have to do is sort of sit down, take some time for yourself and process and just write down in the right column, what is it? What are those triggers? What are those wounds? What are the questions we still need to ask ourselves to clear all of this out of the way? Writing is going to be huge. Even if you write it down and then throw it away, it's okay. It's about processing. And for many of us, the processing has been outside of ourselves. I've talked to many of you, you're like, I've gone and I've had energy clearing, I've had Reiki, I've had people tell me that I need to do this or do that, but I feel like many of you haven't dug into doing it. And most of us, it's going to involve writing in a journal, on a white piece of paper. It can be very tactical and practical, or it can be very artistic, depending upon where you fall on that scale, what you feel comfortable with. But the writing needs to happen in order for the clearing to happen, because it's going to force us to create a tangible way to process that isn't really happening. Like, I feel like it's cognitive right now, where we're like touching upon it in our heads, but we're not really digging into it. We need to like physically touch it with a pen and a piece of paper and, open our journals and just, this is like bringing the true processing, the from the cognitive, oh, I know I need to work on this, or, oh, I know this is there, to the pen, and forcing it to flow through us, okay? And so if you're not inspired to do that, it's like you have to carve out this time for like the self-love time. Make it fun, like pour your favorites, like cold on the East Coast, pour your favorite cup of coffee or tea, sit down, carve out an hour of me time and make it as enjoyable as you can, because it will be cathartic and it will be like aha moments, and it won't be as like drudgery work. It's self-discovery and it takes self-discipline to do it. But I urge you to, if there's things that you've been touching upon but not really digging into, that this is the time to do it. And the reward that's waiting for all of you, whether it's in the next week, next month, or into 2017, is this deeper commitment, this union that's possible. And for some of you are so close because the awareness is there already. And most of you, you're miles ahead of where you were. There's I can tell by the way that you're speaking. You're so self-aware, which is awesome. And that awareness is a huge piece of it. But now we have to dig in to do actually the clearing and the work and the more processing. So instead of standing outside of ourselves looking at what needs to be processed, we're actually going to do the processing. So if you need any assistance with that, you can contact me through the website. I have the 2 workshops coming up, individual sessions, however you want to work and whatever you're comfortable with. Let me know if there's something specific that you need to work on. We can discuss how to framework that. So it's thetwinflamefamily.com. I love you all. Happy Thanksgiving to those of you in America, and sending you light and love. Have a great week. Okay, bye.